You have fun? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, cool. Hey, everybody, welcome to church. We're gonna kind of get a little started. I really don't know how the natural flow goes. I forgot, so we'll just go with the flow, right? Just kidding. I'm just saying that because Sandy's here, so she's gonna go talk to my boss and tell him how bad I sucked. So, no. Yeah, right? Hey, so welcome to church, everybody. Thanks for being here on Memorial Day weekend. I know you'd probably rather be sleeping in. Happy summer. Who in here graduated this week or is graduating this year? Woo-woo! There we go. So Andy is the only old one in here. Everybody else were young, right? Yeah? Yeah. Andy's older than everybody in here. That makes me feel good. But hey, so thanks for being here. We can go ahead and get started. I'm actually going to have the band come up if they want to start coming up. We're going to do a couple worship songs. We'll roll into announcements, and then we'll go ahead and listen to a message. So.
Sorrow and dead in my sin, lost without hope and no place to begin. Your love made a way to let mercy come in. When death was arrested, my life began. Ash was redeemed, only beauty remains. And my orphan heart was given a name. My mourning grew quiet, my feet rose to dance. When death was arrested and my life began. So free washes over me. You have made me new. Now life begins with you. It's your endless love pouring down on us. You have made us new. Begins with you. Released from my chain, I'm a prisoner no more. My shame was a ransom he faithfully bore. He canceled my debt and he called me his friend. My life began. Oh, your grace, so free, washes over me. You have made me new. Now life begins with you. It's your endless love pouring down on us. You have made us new, now life begins with you. Our Savior displayed on a criminal's cross. Darkness rejoiced as though heaven had lost. But then Jesus arose with our freedom in hand. That's when death was arrested and my life began. Oh, your grace so free washes over me. You have made us new, now life begins with you. It's your endless love pouring down on us. You have made us new, now life begins with you. Oh, we're free, free, forever we're free. Come join the song of all the redeemed. Yes, we're free, free, forever, amen. When death was arrested and my life began. Oh, we're free, free, forever we're free. Come join the song of all the redeemed. Yes, we're free, free, forever, amen. When death was arrested and my life began. When death was arrested and my life began. That's when death was arrested and my life began. You call me out upon the waters, the great unknown, where feet may fail. And there I find you in the mystery, in oceans deep, my faith will stand. And I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. When oceans rise, my soul will rest in your embrace, for I am yours and you are mine. Grace abounds in deepest waters. Your sovereign hand will be my guide. Where feet may fail and fear surrounds me, you've never failed and you won't start now. And I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander. My faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander. My faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. Spirit, lead me where my trust is without borders. Let me walk upon the waters wherever you would call me. Take me deeper than my feet could ever wander, and my faith will be made stronger in the presence of my Savior. And I will call upon your name and keep my eyes above the waves. My soul will rest in your embrace. I am yours, and you are mine.
Good morning. I'm saying that again just so you guys can hear me. Can you turn on the house lights for me? You guys can go ahead and sit down. Cool beans. Hey everybody, so just before we roll the bumper here, a couple of announcements. First off, I already said it, but congratulations to everybody that graduated. So Andy again, and if anybody else come in here that graduated this week yet? No? All right, well, Andy, you're the lone wolf today, so I'm sorry. But congrats, Andy! Woo-hoo! Cool. So, a couple of announcements. So, we are going to do a panel here soon, and it's going to be a panel of questions that you guys want answered, right? So, if any of you have questions about anything regarding faith, even maybe other faiths and how like it relates to us, anything like that, on your prayer request cards, write those questions on the back and go ahead and throw them in the box in the back, the little box black box on the wall. And if you have those questions in July, I want to say it's July 4th, we're going to be doing a service where we will actually go over all of those questions. So not every question will be answered, but we'll try our best to get as many as we can. So, but anyway, so also this Wednesday night at Parks is going to be starting back up. Who's ready to go hang out with friends again? Woo! So we'll be at the park this Wednesday. Honestly, Matt didn't tell me the time. Do you know what time that starts at? 6:30? Riverdale Park. So same. Yeah, same place we've been going for a while. So, but 6:30 this Wednesday. Be there or be square. So, or be a square. I don't know. What do you guys say? Yeah, right? Cool. Sweet. Other announcements for you. So if you came prepared to give today, just remember we give to Ian, Solomon, Wildy. Their pictures are on the back, except there's one person who isn't on there anymore, but there's some pictures there too. They're at Compassion. So if you came prepared to give, you can go ahead and put that in the black box in the back as well. Just whatever it is, we take that money, we give it to them. It helps them get supplies for school, just kind of helps them to have a better life in this situation that they are in. I have a note here to make sure I don't miss any announcements because there's a lot, you guys. If you guys want to help serve, come talk to me or talk to anybody in the back. If you want to help learn how to run the soundboard, if you want to run slides, lights, or even help Jaden with the camera every once in a while, let us know. We can get you plugged in and go ahead and get you out there. And then lastly, the cards, everybody knows, they're prayer request cards. If you have a prayer request that you want us to be praying for you for, I love praying for you guys. Jordan and Emily pray for you. Riley and Jim, everybody in here prays for you that's an adult. So if you want us to pray for you, go ahead and write that request on the card, drop it in the box. Or if you want it to be confidential for Matt only, just check that box. I'm not opening the box. Matt will open it later, so he'll be able to look at all those prayer requests for you. But anyway, besides that, that's all for announcements, so we can go ahead and roll the bumper. Oh yeah, the cork board. Yeah? Okay, cool. Thanks. Welcome, everybody. We are still in Habits. We're actually closing Habits. This is the last week of it. So hopefully you guys have liked it. This whole series is drawing closer to God. I'm super excited for this one. This one's actually about worship. So you can imagine I'm super excited to be able to do this one. But anyway, so we can go ahead and get started. But how many of you in here have a sports team that you watch all the time? Yeah? Yeah, okay. Jeb, I think I know yours, the Patriots, right? Yeah? Cool. What's your favorite team? Red Sox, yeah? What about you, Garrett? Salt Lake? Jaden? The Broncos. Are the Broncos going to get Aaron Rodgers this year? They might. We'll find out. But cool. So when you watch your favorite sports team, like, what's your favorite thing about watching your favorite sports team? When they get tackled? Yeah? What about you? When they hit a home run? So when you guys very first started watching sports, did you just kind of sit there, kind of quiet, and then maybe you're watching with your dad or a friend or a brother, and you saw how they reacted when somebody got a touchdown or when they hit a home run or when they scored a goal, and they jumped up and they're screaming, they're like, yes! And they're like, I want to do that next time. Yeah? We feed off of each other, right? So, everybody has their favorite player. They may have a jersey, might have an autograph, but, everybody tends to have a team that they love. So now I want you to think about the best game that your team has ever played. So they scored all their touchdowns. They made every shot. They drove run after run. They scored double the amount of points than the other team. How'd that make you feel, right? Probably pretty excited, super fun, super pumped. And you're like, this is the best team ever. And you're super excited to watch it, right? Felt excited. Your team made a really great play. How'd you react? You're like, oh, yeah, good show. No, you jumped out of your chair. You're like, yes, let's go. And you high five. Jeb, I can already visualize you getting really crazy. I don't know why, but I feel like this one's resonating really well with you. But you high five people around you. You ran around the room and made an effort to keep it down, but your reaction on the outside matched your emotion on the inside, right? In the response to what your team did. You weren't thinking about how to react. Your love for the team just brought it out of you, right? I want you to think about the worst game you've ever seen your team play. They couldn't score a touchdown. If they started in the end zone, shots looked bad. So it was like they were trying to miss. They allowed run after run. They scored less than half the amount of the other team. I know what you did then, right? Maybe you threw your hands up in disgust, maybe even yelled at the TV a time or two. Your reaction on the outside matched the emotion on the inside in response to what your team did. My wife can really resonate with this because it's playoff hockey right now, so she's not in the room with me when I watch anymore. So she doesn't like it when I watch sports. Yeah. So now hang in here with me though, because instead of your favorite team, right? Instead of your favorite team, I want you to think about God, right? And here's why. All throughout this series, we've been talking about how we can love and connect with an invisible God, how we can build these habits into our life that will make knowing and relating to God happen more naturally. And today, we're going to talk about something that we do almost every time we're in church together. We're going to talk about something that might look strange to someone who isn't familiar to church. Like me, I grew up in a different religion, and we sang like really, I don't want to say boring hymns, but like boring hymns. Right? And then I came to Washington Heights, and I saw like the band up there jumping and screaming and like guitars, and I was like, this is so cool, right? But it's not familiar to everybody, right? So I want it to be something that if we can understand it better, it can help us know God in a whole new way. So today we're going to talk about worship. So a lot of us would probably describe worship as being that time at the beginning of a church service when the band or choir comes out. Thankfully, we don't do choirs anymore. But when the band comes out and we spend time singing to or about God. And that may not seem weird to people who've been to church for a while, but to a lot of people, the idea of singing to God might seem a little strange, right? So sure, we may have been to concerts or even sung at the top of our lungs in the car, but those songs are usually about somebody getting their heart broken or about getting money or going out with friends, right? They're totally different songs. So when it comes to singing songs to God or the other things we see people in this designated worship time, it can sometimes feel strange. You may be asking questions like, and I asked a lot of these questions, why do people raise their hands? How many of you in here raise your hands during worship? We got a couple. Does it make you feel awkward? It depends. You just have to zone. Yeah, I'll never forget, don't get me wrong, I love worship here, you guys. But the first time that I ever rose my hands, and I didn't even realize I was doing it until after, was actually at Hume when Eagle and was playing. And it was the coolest, is it just happens, and then you're like, oh wow, this is what it feels like. But when you're sitting there and you're not feeling it, you're like, why are people raising their hands? I don't know, maybe it hits people a different. When do I put them down? Do I have to keep it up the whole time? Or can I relax for a minute? Your shoulders get tired just holding your arm up there for forever, right? So, and then some people, they even cry when they sing at church. And what happens if I don't cry? Is it because I don't feel the same way they do? Or maybe they're just big crybabies? I don't know. I'm kind of a crybaby, so that could have been me. So, and then during worship, are you supposed to stand up? Do you sit down? What do you do? What's most comfortable, right? And what if I don't know God? Can I still sing these songs to him? I have to know God in order to sing these songs, right? So is worship just singing? What if I can't sing? What do I do? Do you just sit there and kick your foot the whole time? Just kick your foot, yeah? Jam to the beat? Probably what Max does because he's a drummer, right? Just tries to keep his tempo there. And then what about the strange lyrics that sometimes show up? Worthy is the lamb that was slain, or wash me in your blood, or there's another in the fire. What are these lyrics? What do they even mean? Right? It's kind of weird. But, you got to think about it. So is that what worship is all about? Or is there a lot more to it than just the standing, the raising the hands, and the weird lyrics and stuff like that? How do you dive into it, right? So, everything that we've talked about in this series, is a way for us to connect to God better and love God better. At its core, worship is just simply responding rightly to God. as in making sure God is the main thing on top of our mind. It's the main thing, our top priority for being the ultimate being, right? Think about it. We respond to things all the time. Think again about the sports team example. Like when I was talking about your favorite sports team, you care about them, you talk about it, you jump around, when they do really well, you mope around. When they fail, you let it play a significant role in your life, right? And sports aren't the only thing that we do this in response to. There's a lot of things that we respond to during this, right? We cry during our favorite movie. Who's cried during a movie? Don't lie. Yeah, exactly. You guys get grandpa being super stubborn, never showed emotion. And one time he started crying during a movie, and I just sat there and I was like, what is happening? You don't show emotion, Dad, Opa. So I don't know, everybody does it, right? Or we get in a really good mood when we're listening to our favorite song. Who has a song that they can listen to and that's the song that can get you out of the slumps? Yeah? Yeah, see, exactly. And the thing is we talk about whether it feels good outside, and we text all of our friends a TikTok that we just have to watch, right? We respond to things all the time, right? Not only that we respond to things all the time without thinking, you just do it out of a reaction. How many of you have ever been stung by a jellyfish? This is a really weird one, but right? Okay, right? Or, you didn't really have to think too much about it, but you're just ouch. Probably ouch is a lot more extreme. I don't know. But you're like, holy crap, I just got stung, and it hurts really bad. It burns, right? Or how many of you have ever burnt your on the top of the stove? Yeah, right? How many of you touched the top of the stove again and got burnt again? Oh, wow. Wow, you didn't learn your lesson the first time? But without thinking, most typically respond, oh no, I just burned my hand, I'm not gonna touch it again, right? Excuse me. The point is that there are some things in life that we respond to with a natural reaction because of what it did to us, right? We get hurt, we get burnt, and we respond in different ways because it's just natural. That's how it happens. Also, we respond to things based on our experience. Here's what I mean. While you now jump for joy when your favorite sports team does well, you probably didn't always do that, like I said at the beginning, right? What probably happened is that a family member or a friend responded that way during a game, and that's how you learned how to respond. The point is, there's some things in life that we respond to because we've observed the way that others do it, the way that others reacted to it. Whether we respond without thinking or our response comes from something, I think we can all relate to the idea of worship in some way or another. And today, we want to in a way that makes it about more than just something we do when our team does well. We want to talk about worship as it relates to God and who He is, a way that might help make it feel less weird or strange when we do it or observe others do it, right? At about the middle part of the Bible, who knows what book is pretty much directly in the middle of the Bible? Psalm, all right? There's the book of Psalms, and the book of Psalms is filled with, shocker, psalms. Who knows what a psalm is? It's like a song, a poem, that type of stuff, right? And it's basically just a huge collection of songs and poems that are used for worship. So, and just a fun fact to think about, right? I was reading this book in the Bible, 101. It's a really fun book, but it's talking about the book of Psalms and how it's in the middle of the Bible, which is like the heart of the Bible, because songs come from your heart, and it's where you pour out your heart. And it's a really cool analogy, just so you guys can think about it in the future. But anyway, so you could describe Psalms as a kind of super important playlist of music. And just like the best playlist, there's a psalm for every mood, right? There are songs for laughter, sadness, joy, heartbreak, wisdom, and so much more, right? And in this book, we get to see God's people worshiping Him, kind of like we do here in church, right? When everybody stands up and we sing whatever we do. So in Psalm chapter 95, if you guys want to open it up, you can. You don't have to. But we read this. Come, let us sing for joy to the Lord. Let us shout aloud to the rock of our salvation. Let us come before Him with thanksgiving, exalt Him with music and song, right? Now, this very Bible-esque language, but it'll get the point when you read it, right? The writer of the psalm is saying they're singing because the Lord is their salvation. They were singing thanksgiving because God actually saved them from something. Because God did something for them, they're responding on the outside by singing because of an emotion, the joy that they felt on the inside because of something God had done, which was save his people. Pretty, right? So in other words, the psalmist recognized that God was the source of this great thing that had happened. And they wanted him to know they recognized the work he did and just recognize him overall. The same way, this song reminds us that nothing, not one thing in the world is more deserving of a praise and worship than God, right? So we do things like sing songs. Music helps us to take what we're feeling on the inside and demonstrate it on the outside. It puts words into our emotions and feelings. It captures the mood. I mean, maybe we can't quite capture it in words alone, but think about it. Music fires up on the field or in the weight room, right? When you're on the field playing sport and you hear music, it gets you pumped up. Or if you're lifting weights, or some people listen to music when they're running, it just keeps your momentum going, right? Music can make us happy when we're having the worst day or having the hardest time. So music can help us focus when we're trying to do homework, right? Music can even be played in the background of a message like this. I thought about worshiping or doing this over a pad, but I just felt like that would have got really annoying. A hum in the background the whole time. So you're welcome. And for some reason, right, that makes us focus more intently on what's happening. So God created music, and God knows music is emotional. So it helps us channel our response to who he is and what he has done. The reason we collectively sing songs at church about God is to focus our emotions on him. As a group, we declare that we're not a bunch of random people who meet just for the sake of meeting. We're people who worship God, who he is and what he has done. So, think about it, but worship is not just about emotion, it's also about humility, right? Whether you're worshiping privately or in a group, worship is a way of declaring, God, you are greater than we are. You're bigger and better than we are. You're bigger and better than we can imagine. God focuses our attention in one direction through worship on God. However, music isn't the only way we can worship God. In fact, a guy named Paul writes about worship in a completely different way. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord, not for human matters, right? In Colossians. In other words, yes, worship is singing songs and participating in that way, but worship is also bigger than that. It's a way to live in light in light of who God is. It's not simply about music. It's not even just about emotion. Worship is living for God. It's about responding to who he is and what he's done in all areas of our life, the good, the bad, all areas. It's about getting God out of the church box that we might put him in and seeing him as a part as everything that we do. And when we see worship this way, we can see how powerful it can be because worshiping God helps us know him better. So because worshiping God includes saying and repeating what we know is true about God, it reminds us of who he is and what he's done. Let's just be honest. We could all use a reminder sometimes of who God is, right? So whether your worship is singing or through praying, walking, or anything, remember all of it is a chance to acknowledge who God is and what he has done. That's worship. That's a habit getting into. So this week, let's work on changing the way that we think about worship from just beginning a 15-minute time slot on Sundays, right, at the beginning of church. Let's try to see it instead as a time slot in our everyday. Everything you do every day can be an act of worship because everything you do every day can be a response to God and who he is. Here are some ideas on how you can get started, right? Create a Spotify list and have worship music in it. And when you're doing homework or you're working out or you're running or whatever it is, right? You can listen to that music in the background. Or if you don't want it to be music, pick an activity that you love to do each day instead of just completing it, do it as an act of worship, which means, right, find ways to do that activity in a way that honors God. Maybe you pick sports practice and you choose to be extra encouraging to your teammates in a way to honor God, right? Or maybe you choose to do chores as an act of worship, or you choose to thank God for the dishes you wash as an act of worship, or not just complain to your stepmom because you don't want to do the dishes, right? You're basically choosing an activity a day, and turning up the God volume on that activity. Maybe you can pay attention to things that get your attention, right? See something beautiful, acknowledge God being the one behind it. Like, you guys, we literally live in Utah, which is gorgeous. Think about it, those mountains. And when you go on a hike, or the waterfalls, or the rivers out there, like, how beautiful is that? And to think that, like, one person, one being created all of this throughout the whole world, and we just get to see, like, one small scale of how beautiful the whole earth is, right? Acknowledge God being the one behind it, and just maybe you enjoy, like, time with your friends. Remember, God created those relationships and wants you to enjoy them. Every experience you have this week, use it as a chance to learn more about who God is and what God is like. No matter what you end up doing or where you end up doing it, whether it's school, your home, or somewhere else in your community, make that your place of worship. So, just think about it. It honors God when you do everything you do as if you're working for the Lord, just like Paul said in that verse, because you are doing everything for the Lord, right? And when you do everything in response to God, you are worshiping him. When you worship him, you begin to live how he lives. And when you begin to live how he lives, you know him better. Worshiping God helps us know him better. Worship isn't only about when we sing, but singing together is a great way to worship. There's something really meaningful about a whole bunch of people saying the same words to the God we love. So let's close today just by singing one more worship song. So I'll invite the band back up here. And I just want everybody to sing. I picked a song that everybody should know, should be really easy for us, right? I just want everybody to sing together and just think about how worthy God is of our attention and praise. And remember, this isn't the only way to worship, but it's a great way to make God the center of your attention, and it's a great way to remind yourself that he's worth worshiping in all other areas of your life. So, yeah. Is he in the room next door?
Singing over me. You have been so good to me. For I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so kind. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love. Still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You've been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves at 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. There's no shadow you'll light up, mountain you'll climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you will light up, mountain you will climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, no lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, no lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves at 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love.
Sweet. So thank you, everybody. I just wanted to put this out there. If you have questions about worship, different bands, different types of sound, different type of music, Mike is here. You could ask him, but I know a lot of different bands too. There's some hippie kind of sounding bands out there that are worship. There's lots of different kinds of ways for you to hear music that you can worship with that can more relate to what you guys listen to already day. So just if you want ideas, come to us and let us know. But anyway, so God, thank you so much for just letting everybody be able to come here today and just for us to be able to dive into this message and learn how to worship you and just build these habits out of that and just draw us closer to you throughout the remainder of our lives, God. And just as we close out, help everybody be safe and to have a great summer and to be able to finish out the rest of the school year if they're not done. And we pray for all these things in your name. Amen.